Good deal. We are now joined by BJ McLeod with Live Fast Racing. We're going to go straight to questions for BJ, and our first question is going to come from Ashley McCubbin. Go ahead with the question, Ashley.
BJ, what led to you and Matt getting together into forming this race team?
Well, I mean, it's quite a long story. I'll shorten it up as much as possible, but we've been friends, and I've driver coached him and been around his racing career for the last 10 years. And we just have a really good relationship on and off the track. And, you know, my wife and I have owned the Xfinity teams by ourselves and took on everything, you know, on our own. And doing this cup adventure, I wanted to have a partner to work with that, you know, I knew I could trust and they could bring some, you know, valuable assets to the table that, you know, maybe I've struggled with or I can't really pull off myself. And Matt's definitely been in some different areas of the sport than I've been in, as far as, you know, different things he's been able to reach. And I know he makes me a better person to get this team, you know, to the best level possible. So that's what, you know, the relationships, what got me to want to be in business with Matt. And then what he's been able to accomplish, you know, on his side of the sport is the other side that I was really looking forward to.
And then you're used to this being the David versus Goliath, the small team versus the big teams. What has that been like for you to date? And what is the realistic expectations for the team going into this season?
Well, I mean, it's fun being on this side because you know, everybody knows how hard this sport is. And I say everybody, most people, and they know we're at the highest level of stock car racing in the world. So, you know, some of it takes a little pressure off of you because you are an underdog, and anything you do good, I've found that people are really supportive. And if you struggle and maybe you get some negative comments here and there, but that's just, you know, part of trying to be, you know, in a sport that's difficult and you're trying to make something from nothing. You know, it's like we didn't have this team 6 months ago, and we're going against teams in, you know, probably 12 days or 13 days that have been here for 30 some years, 40 years. So, you know, it's very difficult from that side. And, you know, I definitely am looking forward to the challenge, and it makes it exciting for Matt and I because, you know, we know where we're headed with the team. We know what we're trying to pull off, and we are willing to work hard and make it happen. And I've been in these situations in my life, you know, for the last almost 20 years. So it's definitely something that I'm looking forward to. And I think we can really, really do well on improving the team each year. And if you ask me a specific position, you know, in my head, like I've got 60 cup starts now as a driver, and most of them, you know, underfunded and really, you know, struggling to get everything done and you know, work that weekend. Because you remember, underfunded in this sport still, you know, it's just still a very well prepared team and great people. And it's just, you put all this together and you're running 36th and looking at the cars in front of you like, I'm doing everything I can and I can't beat them. I mean, it's just very, very competitive. So I feel like, you know, we've had some really good finishes in the past with teams I've been with and done some cool stuff. And I've learned from that and the things that Matt have brought to the team. I'm really disappointed with anything less than a 30th place, you know, average. I want to be close to that next group, and then you'll see if you look at finishes and times and in different parts of the different races in the past couple of years, there's groups and you have to cross from one group to the next, and it's very difficult to make those jumps and very expensive and, you know, hard for a first year team. But I really feel like the group of people I've got with our team, you know, having Matt with me and my experience in Cup for what I've done so far, I want to be 30th or better, you know, off of speed. And if we're not there, going to be working to get better. And then each year I want to make improvements. You know, the next gen car, maybe it's a difficult switch over as far as we might gain 3 spots or we might stay the same, or maybe we lose one because we don't advance as quickly as others. We'll have to see. But once we get that switch over done, I think we should look for a spot or two a year, you know, is my goal, what I would like to try to do. And if we can speed that up and make the right things happen, great. But we're here for the long term and understand it's a very big hill to climb, and we're ready for the challenge.
Thank you.
Our next question will come from Jeff Megalechetti. Go ahead with the question, Jeff.
Hi, BJ. Welcome. Thank you for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
Year 2021, what made this the perfect year to get into NASCAR Cup Series ownership?
Well, I've been looking at wanting to be a cup owner honestly, you could say there's glimpses of thinking about it or dreams of it for 20 some years, but realistically didn't look at it until we did the Xfinity program and we were doing it at a professional level and showing up on time and our cars are prepared correctly and we have a good product on track. Once I knew that we could pull that off, I definitely was already thinking about that 3 or 4 years ago. And you have to do this correctly. We made things happen with the Xfinity series and worked hard and took chances and really pushed the envelope to get from one place to another. And I wanted to make sure if I made the jump to Cup, we did last year, we jumped in a little bit early, just because timing with the coronavirus, the break and stuff, we had our Xfinity stuff very well prepared. And I wanted to fill the ins and outs, going to the track, getting everything set up, running 500-mile races, things like that. And I wanted to do that as a team and make sure we were ready to invest this money and go forward. And I definitely, seen what I needed to see to want to do that. And it's basically timing is trying to get a charter. It's a difficult thing to obtain. You don't know when you're going to be able to buy one. It could be now, it could be 6 months, it could be 6 years. You don't know when they're going to pop up. And I went out right when we got shut down at Atlanta and got sent back home. On the ride home, I decided to build a business plan and put the charter deal together. And when I did it, I contacted Matt and I said, hey, we might do this tomorrow. We might do it 5 years from now. It's a serious conversation. Like I said, but when I call you, you have to be ready to commit to me and us go do this. And he just said yes. He was like, yes, I'm in, let's do it. Obviously there was time to go over things, but he didn't hesitate much. And we realistically got out of those conversations over probably a 30 to 45 day period. And we thought it could be on hold for years. You don't know. Like we just knew that was the direction we were headed, and very, very fortunate to get a call it was probably less than a month and a half after we finished that conversation that they got on the phone and said, hey, would you like to purchase a charter? And I said, yes. We didn't negotiate very long. So we made it happen. And that's why this year, that's why now it's most important to have the charter. It's a great thing for the business, a great thing for NASCAR. And it lets you build portfolio around the team and put partners together that are hard to get without that, and start building the progress of the team. And over the next few years, you'll see the competition level rise because people have this. They can commit. They have this to work off of and bring new partners in, and that's what's going to help a small team like ours elevate to the next level.
Terrific. Thanks, BJ. Good luck with this new endeavor.
Thank you.
Our next question will come from Jenna Fryer. Go ahead with your question, Jenna.
Hey, BJ, you just said how you started, getting things rolling in right when you left Atlanta. So you and Matt are working on this big thing, and it's a big thing for you. And as the year goes on, Michael Jordan gets involved, Pitbull gets involved, really big names. So what do you guys do now to make yourselves stand out and not get overshadowed by these other big names?
Well, I think number one is what I've done all my life: focus on us. Like my people, my team, me, Matt, we focus on us and reach to every level that we can reach and build as many partners as possible and just work on our side. Everybody comes in at a different level because of other things they've accomplished in their sport. There's Michael Jordan, he's unbelievably big now. And you go back, let's say 35 years, and he would be building the same kind of situation. So everybody starts somewhere, and yes, they are, some of these other teams are definitely, a bigger platform than we are, and going to start out better off than we are, but they earned it. They have, and other things they've done, and I wish them the best. And I say that we focus on, us, and we make the improvements we know how to do, because this is my life. I've been in racing since I was 2.5 years old. I have worked on race cars and built them since I was 12. I've been in this to try to be successful literally my entire life. So I'm going to work hard and focus on what we can do and try to put the right people together to hopefully one day be equal and race for those top tens.
And you hear a lot about the grind and getting ready to get to Daytona and how much work goes into it. What is that like now, being a new team on top of the work that generally is involved in trying to be ready for Daytona?
Well, I talk about people a lot, and one more thing of starting this when we did, I wouldn't have done it without the right people. And Frankie Kerr, now that we can talk about him because we had our announcement, he's an unbelievable crew chief, and he's a great person, and he's a racer, and he's hardcore, and he's got a good group around him here at our team now. And we put those people together, and I don't believe I would have done this without somebody of his caliber and his work ethic, because truthfully, you always want to be further ahead. It's just the racer. It's part of being in NASCAR. But I feel really good about where our team's at, knowing that we didn't pick up cars till basically December 1st, and we're going to the Daytona 500 here in less than 15 days. And it's really good to walk out in the shop and see the level that they're at and what they've been able to put together, and really the rhythm they're in. I mean, these guys, there was some come over from Go Fast, and then there's a couple of new ones that we put with that I thought would mix well, and so did Matt, and it's proven well for this off season. You have to go to races and see how people mesh and how things flow, but I couldn't be more pleased with the way they've worked in the shop here and getting us ready. I mean, I feel very good about the preparedness of our cars and preparation and different things. Like, we're definitely in good shape. And I would say that I always, because it's the Cup Series and it is difficult. I am very pleased and honestly not too stressed over where we're at as a team, because I'm ready to get there and work together, and the stress will come because we got a lot of work to do to move to the level Matt and I want to be at. But to get there and get the ball rolling, we're in good shape.
Thanks, BJ. Good luck.
Thank you.
Our next question will come from Wolfgang Munzer. Go ahead with your question, Wolfgang.
Yeah, hello, BG. I'm only calling from Germany. You understand me?
Yes, I do.
Oh, great. Hello. Good evening. We have already evening here in Germany.
Nice.
The first question is, you have a two-part question. Number one, as far as I know, you are a driver and also a team owner. Is there a double pressure on this kind of role, team owner and driver?
Fortunately enough for me, I've been a racer my whole life, so the pressure, I really feel like most pressure left me a long time ago, as far as anxiety or anything that might make you anxious for the weekend. As far as getting in the car, it's really the owner side. Yes, there's a lot of pressure. I mean, it's a big big thing to overcome to be at this highest level, and that definitely always feel pressure. And it's funny because I enjoy jumping in the seat, the times I get to, and then obviously a lot this year. I love getting in the seat because it's the 3 hours or 4 hours or 5 hours a week that I get to not be an owner. And I've learned how to separate the two. And I can say honestly, which I said honestly, my first and second and third year in Xfinity, that I couldn't separate the two correctly. I was always upfront and honest about it. And I can tell you now, I can separate it completely. It doesn't affect me at all. Like, if anything, I'd say it makes me a little more risky because I know what everything costs and I'm willing to pay for it, so I don't have to feel bad. So it's definitely been a process to learn that and get to where I can handle both sides of it. And I actually enjoy it more now, would rather be that than just a driver. And it's definitely a positive thing for us.
Okay. And the second question, I just want to double check before I ask, are you running a one-car team or a two-car team?
One-car team.
One-car team. So my question is, do you think it's not a disadvantage having not a teammate with whom you can share information?
Well, we have a strategical alliance with Stuart Haas, and that's definitely going to prove to help us. Definitely not the same as having a 3-car team to bounce information off of, or a 4-car, or even a 2-car. But we definitely have large networks, and like I said, the strategical alliance is the biggest asset to us right now, as far as speeding up our curve to be more successful at a quicker time.
Okay, thanks very much and good luck.
Our next question will come from Lee Spencer. Go ahead with your question, Lee.
Matt, and thanks for joining us, BJ. Just curious, you mentioned Frankie Kerr earlier. He's a former dirt champion, and I'm wondering, when we get to places, when we get to Bristol, How instrumental do you think he's going to be in kind of giving you guys that, extra bit of knowledge that he has in his pocket?
I think it'll be big. I mean, it's, like running road courses or ovals. It's completely different. And, you got him in here with, I think, probably 600 sprint car starts. And I can't remember, it's some ridiculous amount of top tens. And it's crazy the amount of wins he's got too. Like we talk about it a little bit here in the shop, but he's got a ton of success on dirt. And I think, to your point, Matt and I don't really know how well it's going to help us, but we're definitely looking forward to it because we know it is going to help us to some extent.
Appreciate your time. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Our next question will come from Marty Sakala. Go ahead with the question, Marty.
Thank you, Matt. Hey, BJ. Hope you're doing well. Big news came out earlier today is you guys are going to have NASCAR Heat 5 and Motorsport games on the car for the 500. How'd that deal get done, and how long will they be your sponsor for how many races?
Well, it's a 3-race deal, and it basically come together over the last couple of weeks. Matt had reached out and spoke to them, and they put a program together that made sense for both parties. And I can't tell you, I couldn't be more excited. I mean, I love playing Xbox, playing video games, and it's a lot of fun. And in NASCAR Heat, just to have that on my car for the Daytona 500 is just something that's really exciting for me. It's because, I mean, I was playing video games 20, 25 years ago when, and playing your favorite driver. And now it's kind of weird. You go home and turn on the video game and your name and your car is on there. So it's just unreal to get to have them on my car and to get to see that wrap that was announced this morning. It's going to be put on the car here shortly. And to see all that come together, just thankful for Matt, working hard on that side and everybody at Motorsport Games, NASCAR Heat 5 and them taking a chance on our small team and giving us a shot to go showcase them at the 500. It means more than I can explain, honestly.
Thanks for your time, man. Best of luck to you in Speed Weeks.
Yep.
Our next question will come from Steven Toronto. Go ahead with your question, Steven.
Jay, I actually wanted to ask you about your Xfinity Series team. You've hired one new driver for this season, Jesse Little, and then you're bringing Matt Mills back for another full season. What does the addition of Jesse from a team like Johnny Davis's contribute to in helping grow your program? And on that note, how does having some continuity with Mills and the 5 team help to that end?
Well, to start with Matt, he's done a lot the last 3 years to improve. He had back-to-back 13th place finishes at Richmond last year with that doubleheader. And I know we weren't doing it on a consistent basis. Like we were usually a 17th to 20th place team, or either we broke or wrecked. And to see the potential he had at Richmond, the way he raced, the people he raced, and the respect he gained that day with some of the front runners, it really put a lot of ideas into my head of let's get him some new cars. Let's try to find a little more tire money, and let's get him a little bit more organization on pit road and see if this kid can't run top 15 every week. And that's where we're at. We've done all 3 of those things. We're going to have a little more tire money. We've got 11 new cars across the 3 teams to start the year out. And I really feel like his pit crew and organization, he's actually doing pit practice right now. So I really feel like he's going to be in the best spot he's ever been by far. And he's also off the track. He's working out 5 days, 6 days a week now. I mean, he's completely changed his physique. He's a lot more athletic now. Like it's all coming together. So super excited to see him get going. And then Jesse, I raced with him. I was his teammate at Johnny Davis's, and I've seen the work he put in and seen how hard he drives, and he's smart too. He's not just aggressive. And I think Matt having a teammate like that and having somebody to bounce stuff off of that he's already raced against, and we'd all just want the same success, right? That's what this team wants. So it's going to be big having an experienced driver for Matt to work with and try to help him elevate his program. And like I said, I think where Matt's at, he's on a year to really show some good gains.
Sounds great. Thanks, BJ.
Our next question will come from Anton Hriskiev. Go ahead with your question, Anton.
Good afternoon, BJ. 2021 is going to be a huge year for you, as you will have your own Cup Series team together with Matt Tift. So have you set any goals for yourself and the team by reaching which you'll say, well, that was a great season?
Well, I think getting everybody meshing well together to be ready for the next gen car is the biggest goal that we set. We want our personnel in place. We don't want people being switched out. We really want to be ready and prepared with all infrastructure and personnel for when the next gen car starts getting ordered here, sometime this year and debuts in 22. I really want that. That's a must for me. It's not really an option. So that's when I'll say that we had the year that we had to have. Okay, I'll put it that way. And then, I'd like to have some unrealistic runs at some super speedways. I'd like to get lucky, maybe get some top tens. Who knows, maybe something a little better. We're definitely going to dream. And as far as week in, week out speed, we want to be, like I said before, probably 30th is going to be, we'll analyze and see what we can be better. If we ran 28th to 25th on speed before race scenarios play out, I would be extremely excited with that for our first year, because I know a lot of people are like, hey, everybody wants to win. I want to win. I mean, I wanted everything I ever did before I come to NASCAR, but the level of competition here, wins do come in 30th place. Wins do come in 33rd. Wins do come in 25th. Trust me, I've done it myself, driving, owning, all of it. And it's unreal what you have to put yourself through to get a 33rd place finish in the Cup Series. It is extremely difficult. And I feel like that part of it is not the biggest concern as being prepared for the next gen car and having a shot to have everything in place and ready to just learn the new car. That's the most important part to our team right now.
Thanks. Wishing you all the best.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to take our next question from Tucker White. Go ahead, Tucker.
BJ, as we've seen in the last few seasons, particularly last season, the best driver over the course of the entire season doesn't necessarily make the championship race of the playoffs or even win the championship. Now, given the more luck-weighted nature of the playoffs, how is it a good measure, a good method of determining a champion, especially when leagues like IndyCar and Formula One decide theirs via a season-long points format?
Well, I mean, I guess from a personal opinion, I think that what NASCAR has done over the last 15, 17, 18 years, somewhere in that area, has been big for all of us. They have proven that they're willing to change and willing to adapt and willing to learn and say, hey, maybe this format wasn't perfect. We're gonna work on this a little bit. And you've seen a lot of openness, open-mindedness from their side and the things they've worked on. And they're really wanting to make the fans happy. And you have to accept, if you're a fan, that you can't argue that point right now. You have to say that they've worked really hard and gave us a dirt race, gave us more road courses, changed the championship format and different things over different years. And I think that's what we should all be positive about and look forward to, is maybe everything's not perfect one year, but we're at least, investing our lives and our time and what we love into a sanctioning body that's willing to keep working to be as good as it can be, because it's definitely a hard job on their side. They go through a lot, and I really like what they've done and the way they've worked over the last a decade and a half to try to advance to the next era or whenever that might be. It's definitely been very positive in my opinion. And I'm a traditional guy where I think we should celebrate like they do the 26 race champion. That's the guy that was the best average for 26 races. He wins it. That should be a big deal. And then you go into your 10 or 12 or 14 or whatever race, it is right now, it's 10. That proves that, we have a playoff system that can be extremely exciting. I mean, the playoffs are really fun to watch with the NFL, and there's two teams. Well, there's, anywhere from 16 to down to 4, depending on which race you watch, but there's also 40 cars on the track. So there's a lot of wild cards and different things going on. And I know that it doesn't always work out perfectly for everyone. It can't really. There's only going to be one person that's extremely happy at the end of the year, but I think they've done the best they can do to have a year-long champion, which ends at the 26 race mark, and then have your playoff races that pick up that make it extremely exciting for fans to look forward to and watch a knockout system.
All right, thank you.
All right, we're going to take our next question from Dustin Albino. Go ahead, Dustin.
Yeah, BJ, I joined this late, so I apologize if this has been asked. But you got Jesse Little on the Xfinity team this year. How important was it to go out and get him?
I thought it just so we want to race, right? He's a racer. He's good. He's got seat time already. He didn't do it at my place, but he's been in the trucks. I've raced him in trucks. I've raced him in Xfinity cars. I've watched him. He's a hard racer, and that's what I like about him. I mean, I haven't, spent a ton of time with Jesse off the track. I've hung out with him on the lake a couple of times, but, it was more strictly just a driving scenario that made me want to talk to him. I really thought that I could put him in here with Matt and the rotation of drivers I have in the 99 and have a real shot at judging our equipment and trying to make our team better at the same time. So that's really what made me do it, was my experience around him on the track and watching him in trucks.
Cool. Thank you, BJ.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to take our next one from Kelvin LaPierre. Go ahead, Kelvin.
Hey, BJ, thanks for taking time out today. So earlier today, I asked Kurt Busch about the expansion of teams and new ownership and how excited he was that the sport's growing in that area. And he said he was really excited, but the veteran drivers and the veteran owners weren't going to make it easy on them because it would be doing you guys a disservice as far as building your notebook as a new team. Having that technical alliance with Stuart Haas, how important is that to capturing the success, knowing that these veteran drivers and veteran owners aren't really going to be taking it that easy on you in year one and going forward?
Well, I mean, first of all, I love the challenge, and I'm glad they're that way because I may never have a chance to race equal to Kurt Busch and others that are superstars like him, but I am on the same track as them, and I am trying to get there. And it's not something where I have never in any level. I was always elevated quicker in every series I ever ran. If it was go-karts, I was in a class higher and I was allowed to be in. Started super late models at 13 years old. I mean, I just have always been I ran my first ASA race when I was 13 years old. Like I've always been way above where I should be. And I'm used to feeling that and used to being under the gun and trying to figure out how to make more happen. And I don't want anything given to us from anyone. I want to race and earn it and work. And if I work the rest of my life and never get there, I'm fine with that. I just want to work hard and try. And I think that, that says what we need to say about where we're at as a team and trying to be determined and work to get there. When we get there, we did it. And that would be the last thing I would ask for, is for somebody to help us as far as, making something easier, because, those guys race hard and I respect that. I mean, I've been around all the guys that run up front. They lap me. I think in my cup races, I probably get lapped 3 to 5 times a race on average. And I've watched what they do and I try to learn from them. And it's something that I'm excited about. And I'm glad they're at the level they're at and race as hard as they do. And, I think that like I said, the strategic alliance with Haas is our chance to develop this relationship between our team and theirs and try to, over the next couple of years, turn it into their biggest program and hopefully be, as far as what we can get with an alliance, make it their highest level and try to make it to where we can be. Honestly, once you get to top 20 in Cup every week, you're an extremely successful team. I mean, there's people in 25th that are successful teams, that may not reach a higher level because it's extremely difficult. And I say we get to the top 20, that's a dream come true for us, and from there we're going to set goals to get to the top 15 and the top 10. But, it's just, that's the quickest way for us to do it. And really the only feasible or viable plan would be to have an attachment to someone that's already got, decades of experience to be able to elevate our program.
And then just one quick other question. Out of the currently new tracks added, the Bristol Dirt and any of the road courses, which one are you looking forward to the most?
Well, I'm saying the dirt race is going to be something you've got to be attached to the TV. I mean, you can't turn the channel, can't walk away. You need to have your drinks set up. Like, that one to me is the most entertaining. I can't wait to see that go down because of the reason you just said. Like Kurt said, he's not going to make it easy on any new team. I've hung out with Kurt a little bit, and I know he's not. Like, I can't wait to see these guys take on the dirt race. It's going to be fun because they're just going to go out there and make it happen. And I'm hoping we get a couple of dirt superstars over there. Maybe that'll happen, and you can see them go head to head. But I really think the NASCAR side of it is going to be pretty incredible, and the dirt race is going to be a lot of fun to watch.
Thank you. Good luck this next week.
Thank you.
All right, BJ. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to join us, and best of luck to you during Daytona Speed Weeks. We'll see you back here shortly.
Thanks for having me on. Appreciate it, guys.
Thank you. All righty. And I'm going to pass it back over to Matt Humphrey for our next one.
Good deal. We'll be joined here momentarily by Bubba Wallace. So